So, I thought Week 18 was going to be a snooze fest because there were a lot of bad games, a lot of good teams against bad teams, or teams that
Yeah.
had no or games that had no playoff implications. I thought it would just be terrible, but it actually worked out for a pretty interesting Sunday. So I got to give the NFL credit, man. They
The
figure out how to.
Rams 49ers game was good.
Yep.
Uh, the the Steelers Ravens game was kind of ridiculous, but it went to overtime, I guess.
Yeah, listen, that's one of those things. I know everybody was watching that game because they thought it might be Big Ben's last game. That game was terrible. I could
Yeah.
not wait for that to be over.
It was really bad.
Good Lord.
The Texans playing the Titans was actually a good game.
Yeah.
That Davis Mills guy, the Patriots were actually, if they couldn't get Mac Jones, we're going to take Davis Mills, who's been playing quarterback for the Texans. He's not bad. I don't know that you'd call it a good game, but the Jaguars beat the Colts.
Listen, yeah, that's where I wanted to start. I was, number one, I was shocked that the Jaguars won, but I guess I really shouldn't be shocked that the Colts laid an egg because they could have clinched it last week and they blew it to the Raiders. They had the lead. They should have won that game. And then this game, they just come out and they don't even, I wrote down the Colts go full Carson Wentz.
Yep.
And it's just, I don't know what his deal is. Like, it's like, do you look for problems? And the crazy part is, like, if you just look at the numbers, like, 50 years from now, people are going to be like, Carson Wentz wasn't bad. He was pretty good. He had 27 touchdowns this year and 7 interceptions. You'd be like, okay, not bad.
He'll throw interceptions that just, they're really bad or they're at the worst time.
He torpedoed at least 3 games this year by himself. And I didn't get the Colts at all. They come out and they're throwing the ball. It's like, you're the best running team in the league.
Yeah.
What are you doing? It's literally, it's in, I can't understand. I have no idea. It's inconceivable to me. So, it's like, I get the Colts made the move, the Colts made the move for Carson Wentz, but my goodness. I mean, would you want Carson Wentz as your quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, I kind of compare it to like Brett Favre, I guess, where they're I guess the thinking is, well, if we can just bottle this up the right way, we can turn that, we can be like a Super Bowl contender. But at this point, I don't really know if it's possible. I mean, because the funny thing is that, like, people complain, Favre had a reputation of obviously throwing really bad interceptions. But the years when he was with Holmgren, like his prime years there, they pretty much had it kind of under control. He wasn't really, like, they might play a team that was better than them and they couldn't beat them, but it wasn't like Favre was just destroying their chances of winning a lot of these games. The really bad interceptions came after Holmgren left and the team kind of deteriorated, So I guess the feeling is, well, Carson Wentz, if we can just kind of, get this.
And a lot of Brett Favre was, the team was behind and they're trying to come back, so he would make a, garbage throw.
Carson Wentz is just, hey, we're in this game. Now we're not anymore. And
he gets,
oh, you think you're in this game? Interception. Here we go.
It's as if it's like, you're playing bumper cars, and there's always one person playing bumper cars that's just looking to slam into everybody. Carson Wentz doesn't feel like the play starts until a defensive lineman is grabbing a hold of him. It's like, that's when the play starts for him. It's like, oh, no, I can make a throw. Yeah, I'm being grabbed and, hit in the head, but I can throw it, no problem. He doesn't protect the ball when he gets hit. It's just, I don't know, man.
Not in the octagon. This is the NFL. You're not in a cage.
And it's disappointing because the Colts have one of the best rosters in the league.
Yeah,
their offensive line's good. Their defensive line's good. Their running back's great. They have everything that you would want. It's just, oh my God.
When Frank Reich took the job, he had Andrew Luck, and they made the playoffs, and then they got to the divisional round, and then Luck got hurt again, and then he decided he was done. So it kind of, because they were set, they've been set up, and they're you got to get the quarterback right, or
It's just sad. To me, that was the most disappointing team of the day. It was just, what the hell is this garbage?
Because even if they had won, they would have been 10-7. They probably could have been better than that. They probably could have won like 12 games.
Yeah, they should have beaten the Titans.
Playoff game.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, the second game against the Titans, they easily should have won that game. Carson Wentz completely torpedoed it. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's a waste.
Amazing. The other thing is, I was texting you earlier, I think I figured out the 49ers. The 49ers and the Colts, to me, were the two teams that I was like, I like them.
I think they're good.
Right, but they've just disappointed me at every turn. They're Jekyll and Hyde. I have no idea what I'm getting. It makes no sense. The 49ers, they can't put 4 good quarters together. That's what it is. They can't do it. Okay, they showed that the game against Tennessee a few weeks ago, they're winning, they're dominating, they have it. And then in the first half and then in the second half, completely give it away. Like they're literally one good drive from just putting it out of reach, and they can't do it. This game against the Rams, they don't show up the whole first half. Second half, they show up. Jimmy G, I mean, unbelievable performance. Brings them down with less than 2 minutes to go to tie the game. And it's the same thing as the Colts. They have this great roster. Don't screw it up. Just don't screw it up. And it's like, and listen, the Rams do the same. The Rams kind of do the same thing. Like they have moments where but the difference is with the Rams ceiling or their high is so good. Like when they're good, they're unbelievable, but they don't get there very often. And so they pulled that game away from the Rams, and the Rams lost twice to San Francisco this year. I think I figured out the 49ers. I don't know about them in the playoffs, but that's what I wanted to ask you. Like, do you trust the 49ers or the Rams more?
Oh my God.
It's a tough one.
I mean, if either team's running the ball well, then I feel really good about it. But beyond that, Stafford's never won a playoff game, and he's been lately he's just been throwing some he's had some bad interception games.
He's kind of I think Stafford is like the 3-point shooter where he's streaky. He's like J.R. Smith. If he's rolling, feed him the ball. He's making 40-footers. It's no problem. But if he starts falling apart, like you got to reel it in. You can't let him throw the ball down the field. Because I mean they had a shot there, and he just kind of. So I thought that was really interesting. I want to talk about the Steelers for a second, and then I'm going to let you go on Big Ben because I know you had a big rant on Big Ben.
Talk about the infamous Sunday night game with Brandon Staley, who's never seen a game that he couldn't torpedo by going for it on fourth.
All right, so let's do that first, then we'll finish up with Big Ben.
Okay.
So the Sunday night game, by the way, delivered. That game was unbelievable.
Justin Herbert, when they got down 29-14, Justin Herbert was. I mean, it was weird because he was awesome because of the plays that he made, but it was just crazy because it would be like first down, nothing, second down, nothing, third down, nothing, fourth down, you better complete this, completes it. What the fuck? He did that like twice, like third down, third and long, boom, touchdown. It's like, what?
Yeah, the Chargers are our team that they just love to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat.
It's a character flaw at this because they've been doing this for the better part of 20 years now.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, first of all credit to the Raiders for fighting through that.
Yeah. They got out ahead 29-14. I mean, they were in control. So.
Yep. Yeah, and so Brandon Staley, he needs some work. That's all I can say. The head coach of the Chargers, dude, I don't know what you're doing, but he's supposed to be a good defensive coach. Their defense is terrible.
Their run defense is awful.
They can't stop anybody. Okay, so they can't in this game against the Raiders. They keep the strength of the Raiders on defense is their front. They keep trying to run the ball into it, especially on fourth down. It's confusing as hell.
The people the funny thing is that the beginning of this week, people are talking about the end of the game and him calling timeout. I don't really care about that at all. I really don't care. Okay, they needed to stop. They needed to stop the Raiders, and they couldn't stop them, and they kicked a field goal and they won the game. And the whole tie thing, I don't care. Okay, what I'm concerned about is the fact that the Chargers are only down by 3 points. It's a really close game. You have fourth down from your own 18-yard line, fourth and like 1, and you decide to go for it. First of all, why do you guys keep getting into these situations where you get into these fourth and shorts? Okay, you can't convert it on third down. Second of all, what the hell are you doing going for it? If you go for it and don't get it, and then like on the broadcast they they showed the next gen stats, about what your win probability goes up to, and it's like, well, if you go for it here, it goes up to 45%. If you punt, it goes to like it was like 25% or something, and if you don't, if you don't get it, it goes to like 25%. If you punt, it goes to 30. I can't remember exactly what the win probability is, but it's like, okay, I don't care about that, okay? Because if your win probability goes up to 45%, well, you're still 55%. You could lose the game, okay? It's only the third quarter. You're only down by 3 points. If you don't get it, they're going to get 3 points at the very least, okay? The odds are that they're going to get it, okay? So then you give up 3 points, and then okay, first of all, you lost the game by 3 points, okay? And then let's go through the rest of the game as if, considering that 3 points. Okay, so 17-14, 20-14. Wait, no, it was 17. Yeah, they kicked that, and then how did they get to 29? 20. Oh, okay. They got another. They scored, and then they went for 2. They didn't get it. Then they kicked another field goal. Okay, so if they didn't get that field goal, then it would have been 17. Let's see, would have been 24-14. Okay, and then they would have kicked another. They wouldn't have gone for 2 because there's no point in going for 2 at that point. So then you kick a field goal. So then it's 27-14. So ostensibly, if you were down 27-14 instead of 29-14, when you scored the second touchdown, you would have won the game in regulation, not even had to go to overtime or worry about a coin toss or playing defense or anything like that.
Yeah, the bottom line is they basically gave away 3 points and they ended up losing the game by 3 points.
Yeah, you are like, you could say that he's responsible for that. You're blowing your chances to get into the playoffs. Okay. And it's not just this game. You blew the Chiefs game, and people will be like, oh, well, what does it matter? That game happened weeks ago. Well, it does matter because getting into the playoffs is about your record, which is about the entire season. Okay? So if you give games away, which they basically gave the Chiefs game away, and they gave this game away, then your margin for error becomes much smaller because you just give games away.
Yeah, and like I said, they're trying to run the ball instead of just letting Justin Herbert try to win the game for you in the first half, and you would have never been in the situation where you would have had to complete 6 fourth downs or whatever it is to in the fourth quarter of the game. So it blew my mind. People were going crazy about, first of all, the idea that they wanted these teams to tie. That's what everybody wanted to see. So that's why everybody was like going crazy because everyone wanted it to happen so bad that they were just making up scenarios in their head. The Chargers call timeout or whatever, and he says, well, I wanted to get the best guys in there to stop the run. I can understand that. Like, I understand what he's saying, but first of all, that doesn't make any sense because the Raiders were going to let the clock run, so you would have had plenty of time to substitute whatever you wanted. So yeah. The argument there doesn't make sense. And the other thing is the Raiders did exactly what they were supposed to do. Exactly what I would have done. They ran the clock all the way down, and then they kicked a field goal. They said either we'll make the kick and go to the playoffs, or we miss it and the game's over and we still go to the playoffs because we would have tied. So the Raiders did exactly what you should do in that situation. I don't understand why everybody's all upset about it. And then it's like the Raiders coach was like, well, we were discussing whether to accept the tie or not. And on Dan Patrick, he's like, I have a problem with that. You can't, accept the tie and let the Chargers make the playoffs. I'm like, that has nothing to do with it. Oh, it's your division rival. Your job is to make the playoffs, not give a rat's ass about the Chargers.
And by the way, it's not like they were conspiring the whole game to end up in this situation. They got up 29-14. Okay, they were trying to win the game in regulation, and Justin Herbert happened. Okay, so don't and look, if you get up into the situation, I mean, I think they probably would have kicked the field goal. Okay, but even if they did take a knee, you could defend taking a knee because you're like, well, look, if we lose this game, we're done. Okay, so you could just say, well, it's close to the end of the game. If we kick a field goal, they could block it, they could return it, something crazy could happen. We could just take a knee. I think you could still defend that, because it'd be one thing if you conspired the whole game and like during the week to end up in that situation, but no, you ended up in that situation, so then you act accordingly based on the situation that you're in.
Exactly right. Yeah, it's like everybody's freaking out that, oh my God, you can't tie and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, you're the coach. It's your job to do what's best for your team. Don't give me this nonsense about, oh, well, now, would I like to see the Chargers in the playoffs over the Steelers? Hell yes. That's beside the point.
That's Brandon Staley's fault.
Yeah, exactly. The Chargers should have already been in the playoffs, but they've thrown away so many games. It's unbelievable. Like, we'll get into coaches later, but my God, I mean, Brandon Staley, what are you doing? Like, seriously, the coach that they had last year did a better job than this guy. Yeah. Anyway, the Steelers somehow make it into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Much to my chagrin. I mean, by the way, if you ever need a year where, this is a sign we're letting too many teams into the playoffs, when the Steelers are getting into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Anyway, I watched that crap fest.
First of all, I will say this, though. I give Mike Tomlin is the real deal. I mean, we already kind of knew that, but I'll just he's never had a losing season the whole time he's been there. He had a winning season with Mason Rudolph at quarterback. I mean, so that dude can really coach. And by the way, really experienced coach who you'll never see going for it on fourth down in the wrong situation. Like these young idiot coaches seem to think, that's the other thing. We'll talk about this later, but I'll tell you what, there are a few coaches or a few teams who I know are not going to fuck up a fourth down like that. The Patriots, the Chiefs, the Steelers. I mean, the Steelers are going to lose to the Chiefs, but they're not going to fuck up a fourth down like that. The Steelers, and I think there's probably one other one that I'm missing.
Green Bay.
Matt LaFleur. I mean, because Green Bay, they should have gone for it on fourth down in the NFC Championship.
Green Bay won't go for it even when they should.
Exactly.
So you had something, the Steelers got in, which, whatever, that's going to be, I have no interest in watching that game.
The last game will be against the Chiefs in Kansas City, in the playoffs in the next, I don't know what day it is, Saturday or, okay.
Yeah, Sunday night. Yeah,